Alright, hello, welcome. I'm a little bit early. It doesn't matter. This is for me. My name's Frank. This isn't supposed to be No More Paper. I would really like to build a community one day of traders, only traders, that are serious about becoming profitable in trading only. I will never sell anything. You might ask yourself, I might ask myself, why in the world would I still do this when nobody watches ever? Because it helps me no matter what. Well, then why don't I record it privately? It doesn't have the same feel. You don't get the same feeling when you have the feeling that somebody could be watching or is watching, that you're presenting. So you try harder, you think harder, you have to force yourself to act in the moment a little bit. It forces me to become more professional in my trading, to look at things differently. And I hope one day that I meet other people who are serious about it in the same respect I am. All right, not much news today. Let's take a look at what's going to be going on this week, though. On Friday, TradingView has this terrible habit of when you sign into an account, it'll sometimes just randomly show that account in other windows. So Friday I had to end the stream because I went to a window that I didn't sign in on, and it just showed my account information, which I don't think anything can be done with it, but I don't want it out there anyway. And you would think, with TradingView being this community-based trading company, they're always pushing you to interact and post, and they want to be social media. They so bad want to be social media rather than a trading company. They actually loathe the fact that they are a trading company, which is very strange. So you would think that they would have some way to block all that information. Just press a button and block it, but no. No, in fact, knowing them, they probably did have that, but then got rid of it and sold it to you as a feature. No, I don't mean that. Sold it to you as, hey, we're getting rid of this because it's good, type of way. Like, look, we made an update and got rid of it. Like how they make these updates. Oh, we moved PineScript to the right. Why? I don't know. Nobody asked for it. In fact, we do nothing that people ask for. It's really strange. It's like that type of person who, or that type of business owner who has his head shoved so far up his ass that his customers could be telling him exactly what they want. But he's a maverick, he knows better. He knows what they really want. And I get it, I do, to a certain point. But come on. Why'd you change the alerts, TradingView? Why? The alerts were fine. But no, you made it, instead of taking 2 clicks, now it takes 4 or 5. Thank you. Thank you for that. I bet you I know what it was. Their server was getting overloaded. That's why they did it. Alright, enough. Today we just have monthly budget statement. I think that's the U.S. government budget. Financial managers, federal entities and all that. How much they're pumping into private companies and NGOs and all that terrible stuff. Taking a cut from you and burning it. I don't know. I don't remember how much that affects markets, but I should not be trading by that time. There's a Fed speech, but you never know with that. I should block it out though. I'm going to block it out just in case. 12:30. Uh-oh, did I put it in wrong? I did put it in wrong. Son of a gun. There's this great app I would recommend to anyone. I tried for the longest time to find something that would just do simple pop-ups. Like, the perfect example is a trade halt. PMI is coming up and I want to make sure I flash a reminder to me that I can't ignore that says, hey, trade halt. And you think this would be extremely simple, especially on Windows. But no, they do have programs like this. But of course, you know, they have AI implemented in them, and who the hell needs that? I just want a scheduler that pops up that's free. Anyway, the app is called To Do Later. It's tiny. I think 1,000 people downloaded it, or something like that, which amazes me, because this is something I would pay I'd pay $5 for this. It just works, and it's not bothering me all the time to subscribe. And it's free. $12.35. It should work now. All right. What do we got later this week? ADP tomorrow. CPI, 8:30 tomorrow. PPI on Wednesday. Thursday's retail sales and initial jobless claims. Friday should be Michigan. Yep, Friday's Michigan. Pretty big news week. Let's check some headlines, but first let's check earnings. ASML on Wednesday morning, careful of that. A lot of banks. This could be bad. I don't know, we'll see. A lot of these banks have been loaning and loaning and loaning to these AI companies and have yet to see any revenue return. TSMC, Thursday morning. Netflix, Thursday after close. Okay, so it's a pretty big earnings week, pretty big news week. I think things are going to get a little bit volatile. I don't understand. So they come out. I didn't read an article, but I heard it being reported that Bank of America says they warn that we're going to get a huge pullback in markets. And then the following week they're going to say the opposite. It's crazy. Morgan Stanley's Wilson sees profit boost for stocks beyond tech. U.S. stocks beyond the technology giants are poised to report strong earnings this season, broadening the equity rally, according to Morgan Stanley strategists. I would be weary of this. Yeah, I mean, they're going to get hit. They're going to be a secondary victim of this bubble popping. Because what do you think is going to happen when OpenAI and Anthropic and Google and all the hyperscalers can't pay back these terrible loans? I mean, some of them are insane. Or they even just when people lose faith in their ability to get there, it's going to be catastrophic. We'll see. Yeah, job cuts, particularly in manufacturing. What happened to the rebirth of manufacturing? President Trump? Did it get in the way of blackmail? Or did blackmail get in the way of it? I guess I mean, you expect it for a politician to say one thing and do another. Nothing but grifting, nothing relevant about this week's bank earnings. Proof they know nothing. Gloating overpriced industries and grifting to unload what they want discarded. Thanks for... Yes, okay, this is probably the best. I'm not signed in. I'd like it. But, yes, they will try to push you to buy so they can sell their shares at a higher price. It's very common. It happens on the shorter term, it happens on the longer term. It's kind of why I think we had a strong week last week. It just didn't seem real. The buying strength didn't really seem... It seemed like it was taking advantage every time there was low volume in the market, which is another way they drive prices up, to unload inventory. I mean, if you look at it, we'll get back to the news in a bit, but I mean, look at the volume. It's just below average. And what's even stranger is that we should have broke below this range more, according to the volume. But well, who knows? Is that bid ask? Yeah, that's ask bid. And then I have SMI behind it. What's interesting though is DMI, which measures trend, basically. And look how low the volatility is getting. What do they call that line now? ADX, moving average, ADXR interval. I forget exactly. It represents momentum. It's exactly what it represents, and momentum is really low, which is how they are able to push it up. But we'll see. A lot of times, all-time new highs, here we come. Just because markets mostly go up, and it's just a fact of life. Well, U.S. markets anyway. For now. I mean, I hope it stays that way. But if not, I'm going to attempt to make money anyway. Alright, check out more news quick. Stock futures slip as it removes tensions, rattle markets. Oil, I don't think it's because of that. We've been dealing with that. It's been priced in. In fact, they were saying that was the reason for the drawdown. I think it was Thursday night and Friday morning. Actually, it was, I think that's what happened Friday morning at around 10:30. I think that was the news, the war's back on. At some point anyway, last week. And then it quickly bounced back. You know, if it was truly that big of a shock to the markets, it would have continued moving lower like it did in earlier this year. But it's not. And even if it does, I really don't think the war pays that much of, as much as they think. They want you to believe that it's transitory. That, I should buy. I should buy right now because, you know, as soon as they make peace again, we're going to go to all-time new highs. And like I said earlier, we might, but we might not. It's hard to judge that type of thing. I'm pretty bad at it, which is why I use automated strategies for it. For the long-term investing part. Because I'm constantly thinking we're too high. Perhaps I'm far too much of a cynical bastard. All right, where am I? SK Hynix drops already. That's good. Let's check. SpaceX is dropping. Still. Let's check good old CoreWeave. Somehow they popped majorly last week. Nope, they're gonna drop. They're dropping. I don't know what they're gonna do. But they have earnings coming up in August, mid-August. I think it's gonna be not good. See what I mean? I always think that. It's just like one of these people open their mouth and all I hear is lies. I forget to remember that other people believe it or want to believe it for a lot longer than they should. Great. Great. I don't even want to... I have to read this. Trump embraces Australian retirement system backed by Larry Fink. Anything backed by Larry Fink, that man should be in jail. Another reason why I think Donald Trump is simply a Democrat. He's just a more based Democrat. That's it. The fact that he even... I don't know. If I was a Republican, I wouldn't even talk to him. I mean, I guess that's why I'm not in politics, because I don't understand. Maybe you have to kiss a little ass to the most powerful businessman, but I would, I don't know. Riding high off enthusiasm for Trump accounts for children. Trump last week renewed his focus on their parents and grandparents. And he said he's looking to Australia's private pensions known as superannuation funds for inspiration to reform the ailing U.S. retirement system. I mean, they keep dancing around the problem. I'm not one of those people that says you should cancel Social Security. People paid into it. They paid a lot of money into it. But not a single politician wants to touch the real issue, which is government spending. Both political parties are addicted to it at this point, despite being voted in on that plan. It's one of the biggest reasons I was excited about his presidency and immediately let me down. The minute I saw that he was getting rid of Doge, which might have been just performative. I mean, Doge itself might have been performative. Who knows? I mean, it was. But at the time, it might have been from the beginning. But this is definitely a socialist policy, requiring employers to supplement workers' wages. They already do, to an insane amount. And all this is going to fuel is illegal immigration. Because you don't need to do all this for illegal immigrants. You don't need to pay into their pension plans. Which I think is another reason why Trump is a Democrat. To study the model as part of the discussions with Congress about how to expand the U.S. retirement system. Expand it? Oh, you don't need to expand it. Something with BlackRock is. Geez, so if Larry Fink likes it, it's bad. Terrible. Asset managers and retirement policy experts often look. Rapidly growing 3.1 trillion retirement system. Oh no, I think I know what this is getting at. They're going to get more speculative with it. Or it's going to allow them to get more speculative with it. That country. Australia is a mess. I mean, there's a reason why the only thing holding them up is their abundant resources. I guess that's why they can do that. But you have like a slave class coming in to actually do the hard work. We're eventually going to demographically replace Australians. And then it's going to turn to shit. Depleted in 2032, which would require significant cuts to promised benefits. Outside of government benefits, most workers are woefully undersaved. Among the 5 million people in 401k plans administered, the median balance was just 44,000. That's not even accounting for the roughly 40% of private sector workers who don't have access to that kind of plan. Yes, it's so Great. Yep. That's exactly what it's about. Shift it to the private sector. Which I'm not completely against. So the private sector works when there's competition. But if by private sector you mean BlackRock, that's a monopoly. That means they're gonna mishandle funds, and it's gonna be a big thing. Appeal of a model that mandates high contributions expands coverage even to part-time workers and shifts the responsibility for funding and managing the plans into the private sector. That's not good. So it was good in the old model that, I guess it wouldn't work today, I don't know. I don't really know, but I know this isn't the right way. exactly right. Every American, from bartenders to getter, has the opportunity to build wealth, own a piece of the American dream, and share in our nation. What prosperity? To have prosperity, we need manufacturing, and we don't have it. How to handle the benefits it's already promised, which is currently funds predominantly through payroll taxes. Sovereign wealth fund that could be deployed to fund any Social Security shortfall. The employer countries. Yes. It's already crazy how much they have to pay in insurance and employment tax and health care. In Australia, corporations have argued that they divert money that would otherwise go to raises. Researchers and economists are... I get that, but if you have inflation, it doesn't make a difference. Australians are struggling to turn their investments into income streams that last as long as they do. Oh, I know what it's going to be. So he's in comments saying that his administration should be taking that and we're going to be maybe making it a little bit sharper, a little bit better. Yeah, I don't trust you. 3.4K comments. Yes. BlackRock, the company buying trailer parks so they can displace people so they can't afford lot rent and lose their trailers because they aren't allowed to move them. The company displacing people that can't afford to live anywhere else. I would like to have nothing to do with them. Yes. Shut it. Shut it. What is this guy saying? Trailer lots are always subject to going away, just like a lease on an apartment. It's not permanent. Right. Which is why Trump is a Democrat. Yeah, that they both get away with screwing the American people. Thank you. I think I found... MAGA is DEI. How absurd was MAGA?
Look at
Yeah,
Supertrend.
I can see how this is going to be extremely unpopular. When is it retired? I don't care. Minimum net worth is... Musk roast OpenAI's Apple lawsuit. Altman hits back. Who cares? Blah, blah, blah. Data centers too. They're going to. Every time you hear about a data center, it will be, it's going to, it is, it might. It's all future tense. There's this viewpoint, and it's not wrong, and I'm not sure it's completely intentional, but the viewpoint is that all this AI crap is to push us away from owning anything, to push us away from owning computers ourselves, so that we have to rent. We just have a monitor and a little router, and we rent everything from a cloud, from a data center, which is why, you know, you can't afford RAM, you can't afford anything right now, because they're not really using it. There's so much of this stuff that's stuck in a warehouse, that's promised. I hope they all collapse. It would be a good thing. Great. EU to present plan to restrict children's access. Again, the nanny state. Nanny state attacking the wrong thing. It's not the parents' fault. It's because the thing exists. It's their common thing. So when a bunch of immigrants stab people, well, the problem's the knives. Without thinking, anyone can get a piece of metal and sharpen it. How are you gonna? It's just stupid. It's always stupid. But enough. I'm in a good mood today, and I don't care. I don't care. Sometimes it looks like everything's going down the shitter, that we're losing all our rights that are important. That both political parties are screwing everyone. But I'm sure people thought that 200 years ago. And it was getting worse and worse and worse. You know, humanity survived the fall of the Roman Empire. I think we'll survive the fall of America, just as long as we don't rotate to socialism. That would be the worst thing ever. But I don't think it could happen. I don't think it would be possible in this country. And I think it might actually help things, because it will split the Democrat Party. And they'll gain very extreme supporters in the short term. But guess what? Those supporters, there's a small subset of those supporters that will do it forever. They will cheer socialism despite extreme evidence to the contrary that it works. Never. It has never worked. It has never worked at all. And it's always the poor, the minorities that get hurt in socialism. Always. But a lot of those supporters are dumb kids in college who have been fed this propaganda, this everyone deserves everything type of line, rather than you got to work for everything. Wealth is created, it just doesn't appear. A lot of those kids will grow up and they will change when reality smacks them in the face. It's just natural. So they will lose out on them in the long term. And with people living longer and longer, I actually think that shifts us to a little bit more conservative, which is good. Especially when the baby boomers are gone and they, a lot of them have this weird attachment to the liberal world order, like it's a good thing. Like everyone's the same type of mentality. But I don't think the newer generations think like that. I don't know. All right, let's get on to the charts. This channel's kind of evolving into a bit more on the political side. I should be ignoring it all. All right, as you can see, volume has been decreasing. Whatever you want to call it, the summer slump. So that can actually push prices quicker. Even though last week did seem kind of slow moving. At times, I guess. We're still in overbought territory. At the current range, we broke through value area high. The overnight's bringing us back down into it. Pretty volatile in the overnight. It's hard to actually say who's in control. It does seem bearish to me a little bit, but it always seems bearish to me. Crap. Can't reach my phone to shut it off. All right, what do I have as we go into the open? Since we broke above the current range, I don't know. Once again, we rejected last week, going below the 50 SMA. So it's possible that we keep riding it. Until we get to late summer. It's definitely possible. We could just range near the top now. Everyone's always talking about the dot-com bubble. But let's see what that looked like. On a daily chart. At the time. hate how it... Oh, we did. It looks actually very similar to today. If we, how do I make them? I don't know if you can. Unshackle them. No. I don't feel like figuring it out. I'm gonna try 2 different windows then. Forget it. To me, it looks a lot similar. We had all-time high, and we ranged, trying to make all-time highs again, and completely failed. I mean, this is where we are right now, or here. We could be right here. But that is so, it's like uncanny. Historical, that's monthly. Okay, there's daily. Wow. Yeah, that is. It's pretty close. The resemblance. Look how long it took us to hit a bottom from. Ooh, and it was around this time of year. Wouldn't that be something? I wonder if there's anything to that. What time of the year the most? Well, it's hard to what qualifies as a bear market. I mean, after the fact, you can look at it started. Did it start here? Did it start here? I'm thinking it started here when we failed to make all-time highs. Man, trading looked rough back then. The back and forth. Well, maybe it was easier to trade that. But we then spent, let's say, beginning of September 2000. 2 years till we recovered. And really, it was an extension of 2008 was kind of an extension of it. We just barely made new highs again before really crashing. Insane. All right. Talk a little bit about where I think we're heading today. I don't know. I'm still mixed. I'm gonna wait till something clicks. So we have a split profile on Friday. if I had to bet on it, I would say we're going to make an attempt at 75.52 before trying to go higher. Or we're at least going to drive towards that, if not the overnight low, before doing anything. If we do head that way, those are the key areas I would pick out. 75.66 and 75.52 generally. Above us, there's just so much resistance. Again, we went through some of it on Friday. So I don't know which one of these naked value areas will be a stopping point. It gets messy when it gets up here. I get, because you don't know where. And there is no, I don't think there's any releases today, any earnings release. I close that page. I think we could just range and wait for people to be waiting for earnings and other news. All right, that's all I got. It's really nothing today. Goodbye, good luck.